How you doing, beautiful people? I had a bit of a aha moment, so I thought I might share it. Being unhealthy is actually very selfish. Not only is it selfish towards a God that has made such a perfect body that can handle all the poisons that most people are consuming. It's selfish to oneself, right? It's selfish to the soul, the being that has come here to use the medium, use the means, use the method that is the body, the memory that is the body, to uh, observe something, to experience something. And also, it's very selfish towards the people around you, because when you suffer, just like a contagious disease, right? A contagious disease is really a mental thing, but just like a contagious disease, not only does it affect you, not only does it affect you and your connection with God, it affects others. It affects the people around you. Just like not only having unhealthy eating habits, but unhealthy habits themselves. For instance, littering, right? Everyone else has to deal with your litter, with your trash. So not only do you have to deal with your own trash, the world has to deal with your own trash, right? I'm gonna change directions here a bit. But anyhow, so it's actually very selfish, if you think about it, to be unhealthy. Of course, it's very irresponsible. Anyhow, it seems that in today's society, selfishness is natural. Right? In today's society, being selfless, helping a tree, helping another human being, helping yourself is not in one's common nature. But I was asking others, and I was asking myself, if one really meets death, can one be unhealthy? Because I've met so many people now that have been on the brink of death, and because they've stared death face to face, they say, okay, you know what? If I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die. But if I'm gonna live, I'm going to live. I'm not gonna do this half thing where while I'm living, I'm really dying. You see what I'm getting at? That people, because they haven't faced death, because they haven't faced that at some point their life is going to come to an end, that at some point their actions will be harvested, right, by the reaper or whatever, because they haven't faced that, all things will come to an end, they have this, how do you say, pathology going on. And so, again, if one really faces death, is being unhealthy an option? Or has that life already died? You see, again, I've met people that were very unhealthy, and they've realized after a life-changing event, after a near-death experience almost, right? After not being able to live and fully function, right? Being so ill that they can't move, or they can barely eat, or they're in immense pain, they realize, this is not the way to live. And so this is, again, what I'm getting at, is if you're going to live, really live, right? See it as a gift that you're able to live, that you're able to breathe, that you're able to be free of pain, and keep it that way, right? When we are really living, we are, enjoying life. We are joyful. But when we're living and not living completely, when we're living a half-life, we're not very joyful. Moment to moment, it's just a blur. So, again, it seems, does it not, that when we really live, we have already died. It seems that when we really live, it's almost as if we've faced all our fears. We've gone through all the insecurities that force us and compel us to do things we shouldn't be doing to our own bodies. And we've gone to heaven. We've died and gone to heaven. And therefore we live a life that's as if we've gone to heaven. And here I'm going to add another thing. After meeting this natural farmer, Kim Joo-jin, he's really made me think a lot about money. Now again, money is not a bad thing, it's just a tool. But most people think they cannot be happy without money. And also I've learned a lot about this with John Guy too, or John Guy as well. But in reality, people who have loads of money are often very unhappy. People who have loads of material possessions, who have so much wealth, what we deem as wealth, are really very simple, very simply oriented, and can love the little things, can appreciate the little things. Those people that, don't need much, they seem to be a lot happier. They seem to be a lot more graceful. They seem to be a lot more gracious. They seem to be a lot more grateful for what they have and what they do. They live much more meaningful lives. And it's very interesting how this meaning lies in simplicity. But when things get complex, when things get too lavish, when things get too luxurious, when things are only about money and not the love and the day-to-day living, the day-to-day love exchange, the day-to-day caring for others, the day-to-day caring for myself, when that is omitted, there's unhealthiness, and again there's sickness, there's illness, there's unhappiness, there's inflammation, there's acidosis, there's all of these things. So I invite you to look here. A wealthy man, more wealthier than everybody else, has all the money he could ever want, has all the buildings, the cars, the whatever, but he's unhealthy and he's dying in his bed. And he still can't let go of that McDonald's. He still can't let go of that candy. He still can't let go of these sensory desires that are leading him to hell. So, would you rather be someone who is completely healthy and has nothing? Or would you rather be someone that is completely unhealthy and on their deathbed, unable to move with all the money in the world? Now these are extremes. So it is possible to be monetarily cushioned, shall we say, monetarily sufficient and still healthy. Very possible. So that's what we have to find, that sweet spot of not letting money getting in the way of our health. Because again, if you live somewhere in the tropics, or if you just visit the tropics once in a while, you can very much eat healthy foods without much money at all. Or no money, like I'm doing if you have a lot of coconuts around you. So, yeah, I invite you to think about this. And let's just make this a long video because it's not often that I do this kind of stuff anymore. By the way, making videos is great and all, but at the same time, not making videos is great as well. That's the only reason why I'm not posting as much. Talking is great, but not talking is also great. Pretending like I know is great, but at the same time, knowing that I don't know is awesome too. But anyhow, so we are the coronavirus. Hear me out, right? In the Matrix with Morpheus and Neo, or Morpheus and Agent Smith. Agent Smith is torturing him, and he's saying how humans are like a virus. In many regards, we are in a malignant disease. When we're acting outside of intuition, when we're acting outside of our inner nature, when we're acting outside of common sense, when we're acting from a place where we are blind. But at the same time, humans are like a, good mold or good, like a good mycelial network. We are also a good virus. When it comes to awakening, healing, becoming more conscious, although there is no becoming conscious, but you get what I mean, on a journey to remove the poisons from the body and the mind. That is the corona, the crown virus. It's the awakening. It's the returning to kingship, dominion over one's own mind, over one's own body. And then once you realize who's the controller, right? Who's the one dominating at all? Is there a dominator, or is the dominator just an extension of the dominated? So when we realize that those who pose as our dominators do not have our best interest, whether it's food, whether it's propaganda ideology, whether it's religious wars, whether it's all of this stuff, there's no point at all. You see through it all. And when you see through it all, there's an action, there's a healthy action, there's a holistic action that does not need to veer into the realms of death, or I would have to say degeneration. Degeneration dies. So, we are the coronavirus because we are interested in saving seeds. We're interested in preserving information. We're interested in saving our children. We're interested in saving our DNA. We're interested in saving that very code that will carry us healthily into the future. Because again, that's the only commonsensical thing. So here I interject, or I put in. Is common sense not awakening? Is awakening not common to us all? Is awakening something only one person can do and another cannot? Is Christ, just like it says in Colossians, not within us all? Is there not a light within all of us? It's just that some people choose to dim their light. So, is common sense something that is taught? Is intuition something that is taught? Because I ask the question here now, is common sense not the same thing as intuition? Is intuition not the same thing as awakening? Is awakening not the same thing as common sense? One cannot become awakened. One is awakened, one is awake, or one is not. It's not something you practice. That's why practicing meditation is futile. Because who is this person that is trying to practice? Is this person the very concept that is trying to, or the very ego, the very conceptualized ideation that is trying to use meditation to achieve something? Or is meditation not trying to achieve something at all? And even not trying to achieve not achieving something at all. You see, there's another trick there too, right? So, is common sense not meditation? Is common sense not awakening? Is common sense not intuition? Which means intuition is not something we arrive at. It's not something we go to. It's something that is. It's something that when all the filters are taken away, when all the poisonous ideologies, when all the repetitious, redundant actions like constantly repeating mantras or Bible verses or whatever these extraneous tasks are, when we remove those, isn't seed saving the most important thing? Isn't ergonomical and, how do you say, and ecologically building and, sustainably living together in community in this harmonious way of living the most important thing? Because I don't know what else is more important thing. Commonsensically, please explain to me what's more important than not trashing our world, than not destroying the plant's genetics to make our own genetics weaker. What's more important than not destroying our own genetics? What's more important than saving these seeds? Operation Lighthouse, right? What's more important than safeguarding the information to not let it degenerate, whether it comes in the form of telomeres in the chromosomes or whether it comes in, whatever? Isn't it the most important thing to preserve the light that enters into the future, to preserve the code that will guide the way into the future, that will give us hope? Because it's no use living a hopeless life. It's no use living an unhealthy life. It's no use supporting unhealthy, unintegrated, non-holistic policies, ideas, corporations, businesses. It is no use at all. So here again, I say we should, not only come together, but on our own, really embody and live a life that is healthy, that is whole, that is looking forward. Well, not only looking forward, looking now, but looking now, and in looking at now, we are doing the actions that will bring us forward to a heavenly place, to a spiritually cohesive, coherent place. And again, I say the only way to do that is to save our children, is to get these suffering souls outside of the underground, right? Because that will end everything. That will end everything out there. And then all at the same time, end all the struggle and the conflict that's within here. And when we end that conflict within here, we cannot eat unhealthy. We cannot accept unhealthy ideology, right? We cannot go forward in any other way but common sense, intuition, as an awakened being, right? In health. There is no other way. So, Operation Lighthouse continues. Operation Lighthouse is not only me, but it is you. You are the lighthouse. You are the temple. You are the body that is able to embody the Creator's light. And so, embody it. And realize, when we try to embody it, oftentimes, that's when it dims. Because it becomes all egotistical. Why are you trying to embody this light? You are already this light. It is your natural state. Your natural state is awakened, is full of common sense, is nothing but common sense, is full of intuition. You don't need to think much of anything through. When you have to think, you think. When you have to learn, you learn. But awakening is not something you learn. So I hope I planted a seed there. We are the virus. It's time to take back our crown. I'll end it there.